Morning, guys. It's beta day. You guys have no idea how happy I am that this day have finally come. Good or bad news, I am glad that it's over. The 2-week wait is over. This has been the most stressful, agonizing 2-week wait ever. I mean, it's only been my second 2-week wait in my whole 6-month journey, but this one right here just really drained me, because when I had my other 3 pregnancies, there was no such thing of a 2-week wait. I mean, if nobody even cared to think about them being pregnant unless they missed their period, you know. And when you missed your period, you just went to the doctor or went to one of them free pregnancy test centers and got tested, and the rest is history. But when you're trying to conceive and there's this such thing called the 2-week wait, you're looking for every sign and symptom to give you some type of hope that it's possibly positive. Now, with my last IUI cycle, I had no symptom in a 2-week wait, none whatsoever. And I was also on progesterone, and I only took that till day 10 after the IUI, because if you guys recall, I ended up sticking a suppository up the wrong pipe. And that caused me a whole lot of pain, so I had to stop taking the suppository altogether. And then two days later, unflow came. So I knew then that I was not pregnant. But even prior to then, I had no symptoms, so I was definitely not hopeful with that cycle at all. But with this cycle, oh my God, my symptoms were all over the place. I didn't even know if they were real. It was so many of them. I thought I was suffering from FPS, fake pregnancy syndrome, because I just was having all type of things happen. I was having runny, stuffy nose and real bad cramping, backache, dizziness, fatigue. And one day I was real emotional to a point where I was about to cry, and I was at work. I've had whatever symptom there is for pregnancy, you name it, I had it. And again, I didn't know if I was creating these symptoms or if these symptoms were a side effect to the progesterone. You know, I started comparing when I took the progesterone before and I didn't have any symptoms at all. Why now? You know, so it was really hard to determine whether these were real symptoms or not, especially after I got, because these symptoms basically started at about day 5 after the IUI, and at day 10 of the IUI, they just started to subside. I mean, it got to a point where I wasn't feeling anything, not even sore boobs. I mean, my boobs were so sore that if you sneezed on them, they was hurting. And when 10 days past the IUI got here, I didn't have nothing. I mean, no sore boobs, no anything. So I had lost all type of hope. I started thinking, well, maybe I was making up all these symptoms, or they was all in my head. I didn't really know what to think of that anymore. And then day 11 after the IUI, it was the same thing. Really no symptoms except for one thing. I had been tracking my temperature since the day of the IUI, and in the past when I've tracked my temperatures never really got past 97 point something. That will be my base, in the 97 range down to the 96 range. And since I've been on the progesterone, it kind of increased it a little bit. So I went up to the 98 point something range. And that's basically where I've been since like 2 days after the IUI. And on 11 days after the IUI, I got this real huge dip. And when I got that dip, at first I was kind of bothered by it, because I put 2 and 2 together. Even though I'm not on my normal natural cycle dates, because y'all know I have really short cycles, and I really don't I really usually get my cycle every 25 days, but today I'm like cycle day 42, cycle day 43, and of course it's because of the IVF meds, so everything got delayed with my cycle. And however, my luteal phase is always usually about 13 days long. So when it was 11 days after the IUI, I was exactly 2 days from ending my luteal phase, which meant that was a sign that afterflow was coming. So yeah, I got a little disappointed when I saw that. And but later that day, I started feeling really nausea, which is the only sign that I had that came back out of all the other symptoms that I had that just went away and left. But this one wasn't just nausea. This was nausea with vomiting, and I haven't vomited in God knows how long. So I thought, well, maybe this could be, an implantation dip. I said, well, the only way to tell is to check my temperature the next morning. We'll see if it go back up. So when the next morning got there, which was 12 days past the IUI, and this was Christmas morning, my dip went up a little bit, but I didn't feed too much into that when it came up a little bit, because of the fact that because it was Christmas morning, overnight I was still waking up sneaking gifts under the tree while my kids were asleep. So that could have given me an inaccurate result as a result of that. So I really didn't feed too much into the little uplift on Monday. However, Tuesday, which was 13 DPAs, I didn't have any sleep problems, except for the fact that I had to get up early. I got up early. I didn't say I had to get up early. I got up early because Tuesday was the day after Christmas, and that's also the day that I like to go shopping. And I like to hit the stores at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I got up at about 5 something. And of course I had to take my temperature when I got up, which is a lot earlier than I normally would take it. I normally take my temperatures at 7 o'clock sharp every day, because that's usually the time I'm getting up out the bed, basically. So yeah, that one I had to take my temperature a little earlier, and my temperature shot way back up. I mean, even past all the other high temps that I had. So I thought that was encouraging as well until today got here. Not to mention, I'm still, nausea, and on Monday I had vomited. I mean, I cooked Christmas dinner. Everybody loved it. We ate about 3 o'clock, and I couldn't even eat no more after then, because I was so sick afterwards. And then right before I went to bed, I was vomiting, and I woke up in the middle of the night vomiting. So I said, this has to be a positive sign. But then I keep thinking back to all the side effects to progesterone. This is all the same thing, side effects to the progesterone. So I went right back to that, stop feeding it to this, stop feeding it to this. I mean, my girlfriend kept saying, well, you got to think positive. I said, I am trying to think positive. I said, it'd be easy to think positive if I wasn't on progesterone. If all this stuff was happening and I wasn't on progesterone, I can really shoot my hopes all the way through the roof. But because I'm on progesterone, it's really hard for me to really say, yes, this is it. So when today got here, which is beta day, and it's also 14 days past IUI, my temperatures dropped a little. It didn't drop like it did the first time, and it's still up in the high range, but it still dropped. It dropped all the way down back to the 97 point something range, but in the high 97. I think it was like 97.8 8 something or 9 something. I can't remember what it was. So it was in the high 9.7s, which is still above typically my base. But again, that's also a sign of the progesterone. You know, progesterone, because you are taking progesterone, and progesterone is what causes high temps. That could be why the temps are still high. So I just really can't feed into it. And so far this morning, other than nausea, and that's the only thing I've even actually had since Sunday, is nausea and the vomiting, nothing like before. So it's really, really difficult to determine what the results of this beta is going to be. I mean, I've been really, really praying for the best. I really have. But I don't care what my friends say, I have to prepare myself for the worst, because if I don't, and I end up getting a big fat negative, I will be very, very disappointed and depressed, and I don't want to feel like that. I just want to look at it as, okay, another cycle gone down, it's time to move on, you know, and that's just the way I want to look at it. So that's why I didn't want to get my hopes up high. And I was too afraid to test at home, only because it was Christmas time, and I didn't want to ruin Christmas if the test came back negative, and I didn't want to get a false negative, especially if there's a possibility I could have implanted on Sunday, which was 11 days past IUI. There's a possibility I would get a false negative, because from what I read, you don't usually get positive results after your dip for about 3 or 4 days later. So today is the 3rd day, and tomorrow will be the 4th day. So I probably would have got a false negative if I am pregnant, you know. So I didn't want to even put myself through that. I just said, hey, I'm just a couple of days away from the beta, I can wait. It's been an agonizing wait, and it's been a long wait, and I'm so glad it's over, regardless of what the results is, which I am going to attach to the end of this video once I hear back from the clinic. So I'm headed to work now, fingers crossed, toes crossed, can't cross my eyes, not while I'm driving at least. And I'm just going to go from there, and we'll see what the results may be. And you know, if it's not what I expected, you know, it's just time to move forward. So okay guys, have a good day, okay? And I will be chatting with you guys soon. Bye. Hi guys, I'm back with the rest of my results. So I heard back from the RE today, and unfortunately it was a big fat no. And I'm disappointed. I would be lying if I said I wasn't. I'm not upset, because I never really got my hopes up high, and throughout this whole 6-month journey I never really had my hopes up high, because I knew that due to my age that the chances of me conceiving using my own eggs was slim, even though I do blame the clinic a lot for some of my failures, but I don't blame them for all of my failures. I do blame myself for my failures, because I waited so late to even try to use my own eggs, and unfortunately it did not work. So that chapter is over, so it's time for me to start a new chapter. So I'm no longer going to be trying to conceive using my own eggs. I'm going to move forward with the donor egg. However, I am going to finally take a well-needed break. I was afraid to take a break with this last 6 months journey, because I knew I didn't have any time to take no break, because my age was against me, and every month that went past was going to be against me as well. Now that I'm not doing any more treatments using my own eggs, I have the time to take time. And I just really want to take a break to focus on fun things that I have not been doing this last 6 months. This last 6 months I've been so focused on trying to have a baby till I stop doing fun things and stop hanging out with male friends and stop hanging out with my girlfriends and, stop doing things with my children. Even though they're adult children, we still do fun things like go to the movies or go bowling or go somewhere else and just have a good time. And everything just got put on hold because I got too wrapped up in this trying to conceive life, and it's just time for me to take a break. But what I am going to do is get started on the non-medicated part of this cycle so that when it's time for me to start the actual medicated part, that part of it will be taken care of. Now, the non-medicated part includes legal paper that needs to be signed. It also includes counseling. It includes consultation. It includes a number of things. So that part we can get started on just so that will be out of the way when I'm ready. Plus, taking a break allows me to reevaluate things. Do I still want to try to have a baby even though I've already been blessed with 4 kids? Is it even really worth going through this process? Do I really want to use a donor? So there's a lot of things that needs to be thought about carefully before I actually start that process. Now, before I start the TTC journey, I made a promise to myself that I was not going to get pregnant at the age of 46. I don't mind having a baby at the age of 46, but I'm not going to get pregnant. So that only gave me a year. So far I've used 6 months of those years. Start next month. I got 6 months left before I turn 46 years old. So I got to get a move on it, but I'm not going to rush to get a move on it. But yeah, I know next time, as far as the progesterone medication goes, they will never be able to put me on there unless I get a positive pregnancy or positive beta. And the reason being is because that progesterone causes so much side effects and it gets your hopes way up that right there to me is the devil. I would never do that progesterone stuff again unless I got a positive pregnancy or a positive beta. Because even after getting the news that I was not pregnant, I was still nausea like heck. So yes, I want this medicine out of my system. I may have been, disappointed about the results, but at least I got closure. At least I'm happy that I no longer have to take the progesterone. That is over. So I'm sure Aunt Flo will be on her way within the next few days to a week, and I'm totally fine with that. Because like I said, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, do something fun, relax, and think about whether or not I want to continue this or just enjoy my life with my 4 children and my 4 grandkids, But if I do get on that IVF donor cycle, is definitely going to be starting in February because I don't want it to get too far away. And again, I'm going to keep you guys updated as to what I decide to do and what steps I am in while I'm doing it and who I'm going to choose as my donor. Like I said, I'm not going to announce that person until everything is written in stone, and that's only for legal purposes. But it is a known donor, so I do want y'all to know that. But even then, there's a lot of legal stuff that's involved when you're using donor eggs. Not much like using donor sperm. It's a totally different ball game. So I'm going to keep that person anonymous until that time. So I thank you guys for praying for me and running through this journey with me and, helping me keep my hopes up high. Thank you to all of my new followers. Those of you who have not followed me throughout this journey, hit the subscribe button and continue to follow me because that was chapter 1 of my journey and that chapter is closed. I am moving on to chapter 2 of my journey. And this time, I'm going to make sure that it works. Now, I know some of you is probably asking the question, are you going to stay with the same doctor? Or are you going to find you a new doctor? I tried this in the past. Unfortunately, the very good insurance that I have only allowed me to go to specific doctors, and this doctor is the most convenient one that I can go to when it comes to not having to take a lot of time off of work. And now that I'm going to be using a donor, I have to be considering that person's schedule. So no, I'm not going to switch doctors because, again, it's not totally all the doctor fault. I can go into another doctor and come out with the same results. My age is totally against me, so it's just not going to work either way. So I'm just going to stick this out. I did, however, told my doctor that while I'm in the break phase, he can be coming up with other ways to make sure that he check everything to see that I can actually hold the baby in me, not just the outer side, but the inner side as well. Because a lot of times women conception fails because the doctor doesn't always diagnose the problem. It be problems going on in the inside that they have not noticed, like endometriosis or other stuff that you can't pick up on ultrasounds and x-rays. So I need to make sure, because even though my insurance company pays for the process of using a donor, they don't pay the donor fees, and the donor fees is pretty hefty. So I don't want to be going through this process and it does not work. I will really be upset then. So everything has to, give me the best chance possible at conceiving. So again, I'm a little disappointed, big fat no, but I'm not gonna lose no sleep over it. I never got my hopes up high. And I did keep the faith, so it's not like, I lost total faith. I did keep some faith, but it obviously wasn't enough. So thank you guys again, and I'll be following you guys, okay? Bye.